Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And it's time for our boiling hot, fresh star ratings. It's like, oh man, like a rack of cookies, like an oven rack of cookies
Right out of
coming
the oven.
out
Yeah.
right out of the oven. And it's like, I can't eat them yet because they're like melting, man.
But you'd want to because they're so fresh and delicious smelling. It's hard to resist.
They smell so good.
Yeah, it's hard to resist.
Yeah, you got that giant glass of milk ready to go.
Well,
Some cool whip.
I can't drink milk. Bothers my tummy. Hopefully these star ratings won't bother anybody's tummies.
Perfect segue. Where are we going to start?
We're going to start with the first match on the card, which was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Steve, what'd you give this match?
Man, I thought it was fine. I thought both of the ladder matches lacked a little oomph this year. And this one I feel even lacked like a big story beat like the men's did. So I'm going to give this one 3.25 stars. Really didn't think it was all that special. Especially, I'm sort of measuring this up against ladder matches of the past. You know, generally speaking, these big gimmick matches for the past couple of years, there's been multiple instances of the women outperforming the men. And in this case, I kind of feel like they didn't really do that.
Yeah, there seemed to be a general lack of creativity in both of the ladder matches, and it felt like, in terms of the match construction, in terms of the layout, the producers for each match kind of played it safe.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, there wasn't, as you mentioned in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, any sort of major story beat. Naomi winning, great. Made all
it
the
was a great
sense.
outcome. Yeah.
I went slightly higher. I went 3.5. I thought everybody, all the work was good in this match. It just nothing about it really just kind of leapt that out at you. Be like, oh man, I'm so captivated by what's going on here. It was good.
Yeah.
But all right, Intercontinental title match. Dominic Mysterio defending against Octagon Jr. Rather impromptu bout, booked just a few hours earlier during the Worlds Collide show, which we'll talk about tomorrow over on the podcast channel. This is pretty short.
Yeah.
The work itself was fine. It was good. If you like tornillos, you're going to enjoy this match, as short as what it was.
True.
Because Octagon Jr. does a mean tornillo.
How long was? What does it say? How long was this match?
Oh, I didn't look, but I'd be surprised if it was any longer than 5 minutes. It
Yeah,
was short.
It was pretty short. Yeah.
Dom got a relatively clean win here. Again, it was fine. It was just really too short to really take it above, slightly above match happen territory. So I gave it 2.75 stars. It was fine, but
Yeah.
give it more time.
Yeah. No, I'm similar, man. This is under 5 minutes. I gave it 2.5 stars. Basically, this match happened, but then there was a lot of tornillos. And I like that. But like lack of drama, lazy finish. What are you gonna do with this? Why was this match?
Exactly.
I still maintain. Why was this match on the card when we went over the typical 3 hour? Was this to get the pay-per-view to 3.5 hours? Because they always load up. No matter if it's a 5-minute match, you're going to get 20 minutes of video packages and commercials and stuff.
Yeah, and they had to shoehorn that Gunther J. Uso package between the package for this match and the match itself. Strange. It's odd. Anyways. Let's move on to the women's Intercontinental title match. You had Becky Lynch defeating Lyra Valkyria and winning that Intercontinental Championship. Steve, what'd you give this one?
Thought this was match of the night. Their chemistry is absolutely fantastic. I gave it 4 stars. Thought it was a really terrific match. This ongoing story between these two. I don't know where it's going to go next, but if it gives us more matches, maybe even like a, cage match, some stipulation match of something, I don't know what, but I really enjoyed it. 4 stars.
I went a little bit higher than you. I went 4.25. This match was awesome. Easily match of the night.
Yeah.
Their 2 matches so far have both been fantastic. Chemistry is off the charts great. I really appreciate how they're using roll-ups to further the story and not just simply as, here's an opportunistic win. It's playing a part in the story they're telling here, and I think it's been really great. Post-match angle, really good.
Yeah,
it was
good.
great that they didn't book Lyra as a pushover. I thought all in all, it was awesome. 4.25 stars. Move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I guess this one benefited from at least having one fairly creative spot.
Yeah.
The kind of double ladder type deal that Chad Gable constructed to get himself from the floor to the fireball ladder in the ring. It at least had a major story beat with Jacob Fatu turning on Solo Sikoa. That being said, I didn't necessarily feel like it was that much better than the women's ladder match. So I gave this one 3.5 stars as well. Because the outcome, they've been telegraphing this for weeks. It seemed too obvious for Seth Rollins to win, and the way he actually won was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I went 3.5. I gave the women 3.25, and I do think that this was a quarter of a star better because it did have a couple more creative spots. It did have the big angle, but I don't think in either of them. I think it's funny trying to like parse the outcome, like the actual result, from how the result was achieved. It's like I love the Naomi result, but even in that case, wasn't the most dramatic finish to that match.
No.
This was actually a little bit worse in terms of the actual finish.
Oh, it was substantially worse in terms of the drama of the actual finish.
Well, in both cases, person just climbs and grabs it. There really wasn't a whole lot preceding that.
No.
So, the only case in Naomi is like I want her to win so bad that I was like, oh my God, is something going to come out of nowhere? In the case of Seth, it's actually in the same case as Seth. I wanted him to not win, and I was just, okay, where's that CM Punk music? And then he freezes. It's like the Mustafa Ali thing. He just freezes. But no, he just kept on climbing. So, I don't know if I said I gave this 3.5 stars, a little bit higher than the women's match.
I think for me, just the nature of how, like, they could have booked the finish. Seth seemed an obvious winner going into it, but they could have booked the finish that could have had a lot more drama to it. But there was basically none. When it was down to him and LA Knight is kind of the final two, and he throws LA Knight into the ladder and has to like kick him into position to hit the stomp, and then climbs. It's just not. At least with Naomi winning, she pushed Rhea and Alexa off the ladder. They fell onto another ladder. There was at least like a spot that was meant to kind of build up to the finish. Whereas this, it was just mayhem. Seth and LA Knight kind of roll in the ring. We have like 2 minutes of top of the second hour of Raw level action, and then he wins. And it's like, all right, just underwhelming. How it was constructed. Anyways, let's talk about the main event. Cody and Jey Uso defeating John Cena and Logan Paul with the help of the returning R-Truth, Ron Killings.
Ron Killings now.
Steve, what'd you give this one?
Love the post-match angle, or the finish angle. First part of the match was not great. There was some very creative. I love the drone thing in the match. I gave this 3.25 stars. I thought I was pretty bored by the first half of it, but I thought the second half of it really gave us something to enjoy. Logan's big moonsault bit was good, and the return of truth was a massive surprise. I can't justify. The first half of this match, we're sitting there just talking about anything but the match. It's always wild to me when people get in our comments on the live stream and they're like, "Man, you guys aren't giving this anything. You guys aren't reacting." Look. We've been doing this for a long time. I can't manufacture a reaction. It's just a reaction it's a reaction. What do you want from me? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, reaction has to be earned.
Right.
You go out there and bust out a headlock and go, "Oh man, great form on that headlock."
Holy shit. Looking at moving at a snail's pace. Wow, that's great.
I know.
Anyways, that's a tangent.
You said 3.25?
I gave it 3.25. I thought that, the first part of the first half of this match was like 1.5 stars. It was boring.
Yeah.
And so if the back half of it was, 4.25, then I got to take the entirety of the match into account.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's kind of my thought process as well, is if the first, honestly, 2/3 of the match, it really started kicking up once Logan hit that moonsault out of the ring onto the announce table. That's when stuff really started picking up.
I thought when Cena and Logan started having their issues, that's when it really began.
Which pretty much directly preceded the moonsault spot. It was a matter of a couple minutes before. But everything prior to that, it was like just, all right, we're going to have an easy night in the house show loop.
It really felt that way, yeah.
And it was uninspired. And maybe there was the thought of, well, let's make the early part of the match kind of meh to maximize the impact of the end. I don't know. I don't know what kind of thought process goes into putting these matches together, if that even enters the equation. Nonetheless, the first 2/3 of this match was boring. The final third was much more interesting, and R-Truth returning and hitting Cena with that title. That was neat. In the end, I gave it 3 stars. You got to rate the totality of the match.
Yeah.
And when the first 2/3 of it is a boring slog, it's going to bring the star rating down.
Yeah. No,
3 stars.
Yeah. What if Ron Killings produced a knife? I probably would have bumped it up a little bit more.
Just produce a knife, or did he do something with it?
No, honestly, if he just produced it, it'd be like, whoa, he is Ron Killings.
I guess so, yeah.
I don't know why I thought I'm in my head. I'm trying to think what would have boosted if you have a stinker first 2/3.
I mean, here's a solution. Rather than having to have somebody come out with a knife, just don't book a stinker 2/3.
Well, no. But if you're stuck with that,
why are you stuck with that?
I like your assertion that it's like, yeah, I wonder if they decided to put on a boring first 2/3. No, I think that the idea is, hey, let's build in the first 2/3. But like building, it's a fine line between building and intentionally putting on a stinker, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
If somebody says, hey, we're going to build for the first 2/3, somebody has to stop. One of the wrestlers will be like, okay, so wait a second. What you're saying is we're going to have a boring first 2/3 of the match.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to come out on fire. Then maybe you can dial it back a little bit.
That's part of the issue where this match had no stakes whatsoever.
And that was part of the issue. There's no stakes involved.
No stakes. Yeah. If there was something on the line, like the winning team got a title shot against the champion on the other team. All right. Yeah. Then you walk into this match with a level of urgency because there's stakes involved.
If Cena's really interested, yeah. If he really wants to get Logan Paul that title shot, then make that part of oh, Cody, you want to get your hands on me? Then your friend has to put his title on the line. In some way, somehow, a title shot against Logan Paul, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sitting there booking this stuff, man.
No, neither am I.
Maybe one day they'll come to us.
Highly doubtful.
That's gonna do it. I probably wouldn't even say yes, man. That'd be oh my god.
Oh, that seems
what
like
a stressful job that would be. That'd be so stressful. Yeah. Anyways, it's gonna do it. What do you rate Triple H's assertion that R-Truth's release was, quote, all part of the show? How many stars do you rate that lie?
Oh, like -5.
Dud. It's a dud.
He's covering himself for signing off on letting R-Truth's contract expire. That's what he's doing.
There you go.
Oh, it was all a story to begin with. No.
Yeah.
No, this wasn't work. Get out of here. Man. Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Let us know what your star ratings are for Money in the Bank. Give us your star ratings for our reactions to Money in the Bank. Until next time, we'll see you guys around. Goodbye.